The war in Ukraine, instigated by Russia's invasion, has sent shockwaves throughout the global economy. This conflict, raging since February 2022, has exposed vulnerabilities and interdependencies in ways few could have predicted. The ripple effects are felt from the bustling factories of China to the quiet suburbs of America. The war's economic consequences are as profound as its geopolitical ones. This conflict is not merely a regional crisis, it has morphed into a global economic earthquake. The aftershocks are felt in rising energy prices, disrupted supply chains, and heightened geopolitical tensions. Understanding the economic ramifications of this war is crucial for navigating the current global landscape and preparing for future challenges. The economic consequences of the war are multifaceted and interconnected. They impact every corner of the world, albeit in different ways. From soaring inflation to the specter of recession, the economic fallout of the war is a stark reminder of the fragility of global interconnectedness. This essay will delve into the various ways the Russia-Ukraine war has shaken the global economy. We will examine the specific challenges faced by Russia, Europe, and the world at large. By understanding these challenges, we can better prepare for the uncertain road ahead. While the world grapples with the economic fallout of the war, Russia's economy presents a complex picture. On the one hand, the country is grappling with crippling Western sanctions. These sanctions target key sectors of the Russian economy, aiming to pressure the Kremlin to cease hostilities. On the other hand, Russia's military industry is experiencing a boom. Military production has surged to meet the demands of the ongoing war effort. This surge in production has created jobs and stimulated certain sectors of the Russian economy. The increased demand for military hardware, from tanks to missiles, has provided a lifeline to some Russian industries. However, this economic boost comes at a cost. The focus on military production diverts resources from other sectors, hindering long-term economic growth. Moreover, the dependence on military spending is unsustainable and exposes the Russian economy to significant risks should the conflict subside. The war has forced Russia to become increasingly reliant on its military-industrial complex. This dependence carries significant long-term risks for the Russian economy. A shift towards a peacetime economy would require major structural adjustments and could lead to economic instability. Europe, heavily reliant on Russian energy prior to the war, faces a particularly acute dilemma. The continent's dependence on Russian gas has exposed a critical vulnerability. Russia's weaponization of energy supplies by reducing or halting gas flows has sent shockwaves through European economies. The European Union has scrambled to reduce its dependence on Russian gas. It has sought alternative suppliers, such as the United States and Norway, and accelerated investments in renewable energy sources. However, these transitions take time, and Europe remains vulnerable in the short term. The energy crisis has fueled inflation in Europe, driving up the cost of living for consumers and businesses alike. It has also raised concerns about energy security and the potential for shortages during the winter months. The situation highlights the difficult choices European nations face as they balance economic stability with their commitment to supporting Ukraine. The rush to secure alternative energy supplies has also led to concerns about overinvestment in fossil fuel infrastructure. This could lock Europe into a carbon-intensive future, undermining its climate goals. The energy crisis presents a significant challenge to Europe's green transition. Section 4. Global energy disruptions, a chain reaction. The war's impact on energy markets extends far beyond Europe. Russia is a major global supplier of oil and gas. Disruptions to Russian exports have reverberated throughout the global economy. The war has exacerbated existing supply chain disruptions, leading to price volatility and energy shortages in various parts of the world. The war has also prompted a scramble for energy security. Countries are seeking to diversify their energy sources and reduce their dependence on geopolitical rivals. This has led to increased competition for energy resources, pushing prices even higher. Developing countries, particularly those heavily dependent on energy imports, have been hit hard by rising prices. This has fueled inflation, increased debt burdens, and exacerbated existing economic vulnerabilities. The war's impact on energy markets has highlighted the interconnectedness of the global economy and the far-reaching consequences of geopolitical instability. The energy crisis has also exposed the need for greater investment in renewable energy sources. The transition to a clean energy future has become even more urgent in light of the war's impact on global energy markets. Section 5. The inflationary wave, a global challenge. The surge in energy prices is a major driver of the global inflationary wave that has taken hold since the start of the war. Rising energy costs have ripple effects throughout the economy, increasing the cost of transportation, manufacturing, and food production. This has led to broad-based price increases, eroding consumer purchasing power and squeezing household budgets. Central banks around the world have responded to rising inflation by raising interest rates. This is intended to cool down the economy and bring inflation under control. However, raising interest rates too quickly risks triggering a recession. Central banks are walking a tightrope, trying to balance the need to control inflation with the risk of stifling economic growth. The war has exacerbated existing inflationary pressures stemming from supply chain disruptions and pent-up demand following the COVID-19 pandemic. The combination of these factors has created a perfect storm for inflation, presenting a significant challenge to policymakers worldwide. The inflationary wave has disproportionately impacted low-income households who spend a larger share of their income on essential goods and services. This has raised concerns about rising inequality and social unrest. Section 6. Economic forecasts, a clouded outlook. The International Monetary Fund and other international organizations have downgraded global growth forecasts in light of the war in Ukraine. The conflict has injected a significant degree of uncertainty into the global economic outlook, making it difficult to predict the full extent of the economic fallout. The war has also raised concerns about a potential global recession. While a recession is not a foregone conclusion, the risks have undoubtedly increased. A prolonged conflict in Ukraine, coupled with persistent inflation and aggressive interest rate hikes, could tip the global economy into recession. The economic outlook varies significantly across regions. Emerging markets and developing economies, already grappling with high debt levels and limited fiscal space, are particularly vulnerable to external shocks. Advanced economies, while generally more resilient, are not immune to the spillover effects of the war. The war has highlighted the importance of international cooperation and policy coordination in mitigating economic risks. However, the current geopolitical climate, characterized by rising tensions and mistrust, makes such cooperation more challenging.